Everyone. Happy day after the 4th. It's great to celebrate every day, isn't it? Let's stand and sing I Release together and let go. Here we go. There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go, and this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. Let's welcome Tina to the platform.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Good. Welcome to Unity of Orange County. And if you're watching us on YouTube, well, thank you for tuning in. And whenever you're in the area, be sure you come by to see us. We always start our service by affirming our prayer for our church, our vision and mission statement. So together, together, we're going to do our prayer for our church. Here we go. God is our strength, our substance, our source, and our supply. We open our minds to divine ideas, and we are grateful for the flow of good in our ministry. And our vision statement? We are love, honoring the divine in all. And our mission statement? We awaken, inspire, and transform lives through loving kindness, education, and service. And at this time, I'd like to thank those that helped make this service possible by giving of their service. Our music and choir director, Bill Wolf. John Harnack on camera, which is not really true. It's Dave today. Hi, Dave. Welcome. It's nice to have you today. Waverly is streaming. Thank you, Waverly. And Aaron Hardy is on audio. Our greeters today were Carol Wysong and David Ho. Thank you for being there. Hospitality is magnificent Carla. Woo! She brought some really great goodies today. Our trustee today is Howard. Yay, Howard. And double duty for Howard. He is also the chaplain today. And so if you are in need of prayer, Howard will be available. He's standing at the back door right now. And he'll be in the lobby or standing around by the door. And he'll be there for prayer. Our speaker today is Reverend Annie. Yay, Reverend Annie. Thank you for being here, Reverend Annie. Her message today, freedom as a spiritual experience. True freedom is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to meet life's changing ideas with faith, trust, and inner peace. And yes, we look forward to that. We have just a few announcements today. Our annual summer picnic is July 26th. There is a sign-up sheet in the back, so please, it's a potluck, so please be sure that you sign up. We just want to make sure we don't have, only potato salad. You know how that works. As far as location is concerned, right now we are looking at a couple different places. We realized we wanted to have it over at the creek, down by the big tree, or Aliso Creek, but after we took a walk down that way and spoke to a few of our people here, that's a little too difficult of a hike for some people to walk down that way, especially if we're trying to carry coolers and so on and so forth. So we have a couple other options that Howard and I are going to go look at today to see what works so that it's convenient for all of you and you won't have to worry about walking, because I know that's a big thing. Really special today, our Unity Soul Singers are singing today. So let's give them a big hand. I know that I would not have enough nerve to come up here and sing, so I hand it to all of you folks that are singing today. And our last message, the men's group will be meeting after hospitality today in the music room. And George, if you have any questions, please see George. All right, it's time for meet and greet, so please say a hello to someone you don't know. So be sure to get up and say hello to someone new.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all here today. It's my honor to begin this service by lighting this candle. We call it the Christ candle, and it's symbolic of light, the life within each and every one of us. In the scripture, Jesus the Christ said that we are the light of the world. So let the lighting of this candle ignite that flame within each and every one of us as we move through this service today. And along with that, I will move over and bring the same light energy into this prayer box, knowing that the request in this prayer box are symbolic of a desire to have a life that's more fulfilling, symbolic of a life of peace and harmony and love. So as I turn within to acknowledge these requests, I invite anyone within this congregation that if you do have a prayer request that is not in this box, just know that this prayer is for you as well. So I bless these offerings from that place within me that knows a presence that is all powerful, that is everywhere present, that is all loving. And it is no respect of a person. So when I bless these prayer requests, I know I'm blessing from that place that I am in touch with the Spirit, the living Spirit Almighty, that knows all, sees all, and doeth all. So every request here, I already know that it is already answered in the mind of God, because the answer to the prayer is within the prayer itself. So we just allow that prayer for energy, that light energy, to just radiate out into the universe, transforming and transmuting anything unlike itself into a spiritual equivalent. So I bless this, I let it be, and so it is. Amen. And today's daily word, Sunday, July 5th, the word is independence. Interdependence. Thank you. Somebody read this. Yeah. And for those of us without cataracts, go ahead and correct the rest of So I am connected with all beings. We are all one in God. At our best, members of the human family rely upon and support one another. We give and we receive. We help and we are helped. We comfort and we are comforted. I remember this: if at times I feel alone in the world, even if I'm tempted to cope with difficult situations on my own, I will accept an offer of help if it comes. Likewise, if I see someone struggling, I will offer to lighten a load. With each intention, I deepen my awareness of the infinite goodness in all people. I also express my spiritual nature more fully and easily as I communicate, cooperate, and contribute to the good of others and open my heart to receive. We belong to one another, united in our divinity and interdependent in our humanity. And the scripture today is from the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 8. Finally, all of you, having unity of spirit, sympathy, love for one another, a tender heart, and a humble mind. And let us take these words into a brief moment of meditation. If you would just center yourself in knowing that right where we are, the presence of God is. We center ourselves in the awareness that this nation of ours, our country, is celebrating 250 years of independence. And so we bless the journey, knowing that how we got there is just as symbolic as the destination. So journey with me as we journey into how we got here 250 years ago. First, there was a moment in time. Then there was 1 minute, 60 seconds. And then there was an hour, 60 minutes. Traveling along to 1 day, 24 hours. The journey is light. And the 24 hours combine into 1 week, 7 days. 7 days becomes a week, 4 to 5 weeks become a month, 365 days, we come upon a year. Then we journey to 100 years. And now here we are, 250 years of inner independence and outer inner independence. So as we just bask in the celebration of freedom and independence, let us become aware that freedom always has and it always will be. Freedom is not something that was given to one person and not another. Freedom is our inalienable right. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So as we enter into this service today, let us not forget the amount of time it took us to get where we are. Let us not forget the ones who paved the way and made it possible. And let us not forget the light that we carry within each and every one of us that shines along the path, that leads the path to those who come after us. So we rest in the silence, knowing that we have been on an amazing journey, we, this country of ours. And we rest in the knowing that all is good now, all continues to be good now and forevermore. So we just take a moment and rest in the silence.
have died inside everyone. I know a people who choose to believe that life can be lived in peace, and their vision quite America. Your vision is what you are.
Wow. Is that me? Oh, okay. Wow, Bill, I tell you, that song really moved me. While I was sitting there, just taking in the words of it, I felt the spirit of my ancestors. I heard the voice of my ancestors saying, "Open your heart, Annie. Your vision is who you are. Open your heart, Annie. Your vision is who you are." And so, wow, I need to get myself uprooted from that groundedness so I can begin this talk. So, good morning to you all. And thank you, Bill, for that. Thank you. That's just like the essence of my talk today. Opening up our hearts. And so I'm still getting myself grounded after that message. So I just need a minute here. So, okay. So yesterday, our nation celebrated Independence Day. Across the country, people gathered with their families, and I don't know about you, having a picnic in the park. We attended parades. I think I saw Tina. I saw some people here at the event that we had here, but it was just an amazing sight. It celebrated one of the values that we as humans, at least for me, cherish most, is that independence and that freedom. And I know oftentimes freedom is a word that we throw around a lot because on the surface it looks like we have all these amazing freedoms, and we do. Freedom is a word that we often use. I didn't quite understand what freedom was growing up as a child, because in my growing up, freedom was an idea, but it wasn't even a possibility because of my ancestors and my heritage. But there was something else that song spoke to me, that called me, that said, freedom is who I am. The vision that my ancestors and my parents, who couldn't read and write, they had a vision for who I was and who I am. And they encouraged that vision. And so I have to stop and ask myself, what is this freedom that so many of us have, but yet we don't have? So what is freedom? One of the definitions that I like the most is, and it was from the thesaurus, and it describes freedom as the ability to think, to feel, and to act without constraint. So I ask you now, is that your experience today? Is your experience that you have the ability to feel, to act without undue restraint? You know, I like that definition because it reminds me that freedom is more than a political idea. It is also a personal and a spiritual experience. Oftentimes, when we look around and see what's going on, we see our freedom wrapped up in a political message. And so we tend to stay stuck in that. Now, this is not a sermon about politics. So yeah, just be clear on that. But a lot of times we give up our freedom because of the politics of the nation, the politics of the financial institutions, the politics of the medical institution. There are all these political, and I'm using the word political and I'm using it loosely. It's not to any particular political party, but the politics of life today. And see all of this and we realize that while we may enjoy some external freedoms, we don't always experience that same freedom within ourselves. And that's what I want lighting of this candle and this message to be about, ways that we can ignite this freedom within ourselves. Now, sometimes we may be constrained by fear, and sometimes we just might, and there's no judgment. Sometimes we are constrained by worries. Sometimes we can be constrained by resentment, by what people think about us. Sometimes we can be constrained by worry, all of the human experiences that we go through on our daily basis. And sometimes the daily stream of news in the headlines telling us what to think, telling us what to feel, telling us what we should be afraid of, and even telling us what tomorrow might bring. And to me, that feels like it's building a fence around our freedom. And so looking at it from that perspective, we might want to ask ourselves, based on that, how free am I really? That is my question. And is there something more? And that something more, I'd like to entertain the idea of spiritual freedom. And so, if you're not always quite sure how to get to spiritual freedom, I have some ideas how we can get there from here. How we move from simply talking about spiritual freedom to actually living it. How do we cultivate an inner freedom that remains steady even when life seems struggling or troubled times? How can we maintain that spiritual freedom? How can we navigate through this life experience without having to worry about it? And I certainly don't have all the answers, but I have some answers, and I would like to share those with you, and hopefully you can take some of these ideas and incorporate them into your daily activities, into your daily experience. And I had this book that I actually was encouraged to read it during my time in the School of Ministry. And, excuse me, I picked it up a while back. And it's called The Four Agreements by Don McGillies. People are nodding their heads, and you want to know about it. If you haven't read it, I really encourage you to read it. If you have read it, take what I'm giving you today and bring it back to this book and see if you can get some new insights into it. And so Ruiz reminds us that these agreements, the agreements that we make, shape our lives. And he gave us some agreements as what he thought were good ways that we can live our lives. Especially during these, when I was in the School of Ministry, when I was going through some tough times, I relied on stuff like this. And I rely on it even more today, being in the public life, being a public servant, being in the ministry, being in a community where people are very active in this stage in their life. And so I looked at the agreements that I had, that I made with myself. And I'm going to share those agreements with you, and you can see if they fit in with you. So he called his the Four Agreements. And so I'm calling these Annie's Four Agreements. So you can attribute these to me, and I'll tell you what they are, and I'll tell you a little bit about how I got into these. So the first agreement that I made with myself, I actually found it was a quote by the infamous Anonymous. So I know you all know who Anonymous is. So I read this and someone said it to me, the first agreement, and it says, if it's not yours, don't take it. And on the surface, that might seem like material stuff, like don't take the pencil that someone left, or don't take someone's purse, or don't take someone's wallet. Those things are absolutely grounding principles. We shouldn't be doing that. But I'm talking about something a little bit more deeper than that. We take it to the next level. So if it's not yours, don't take it. Don't take on someone else's bad behavior. Don't take on someone else's expectations that may not fit with who you are. Don't take on someone else's ideas. You can be who you are, but don't take on stuff that doesn't belong to you. It is not yours to solve everybody's problem. It's not. And how many of us do that? As soon as someone walks up to us, and I know I've been guilty of this a lot, as soon as they start talking to me about what's going on, I start fixing them. Don't do that. That's not ours to do. And you know what it does for me is when I start doing that, it takes up space in my head. And then their problem has got space in my head. So I don't need to take it on. I can be compassionate and listen. I can be supportive and touch and do the human touching. I can give them a hug. If you need a ride to the store, I can give you a ride to the store. But I'm not going to take on being your transportation. That's not mine to do. And what that does is it sets boundaries for us. And oftentimes when we don't have personal boundaries, we open the way. We give other people permission to run our lives. And how often do we do that? How often when people walk up to you and start talking, do you say, that's not mine? That's not mine. If you have to tie a little knot on your finger and walk around and every time you see somebody and they started sharing something about you, you can say, that's not mine. I can still be your friend. I can still be your companion. I can still pray with you. I can support you, but it's not mine. And so often we impede our own freedom by carrying stuff, carrying the weight of our ancestors. I was speaking with a group, and it was about young leaders going into public service. And they were asking me, there were a lot of themes to it. And so one of the questions came up to me was the burden that you carry. And I said to them, the burden is not mine to carry. In my experience, when I was talking to this group, I said, Dr. King carried the burden. Rosa Parks carried the burden. Harriet Tubman carried the burden. I don't need to carry that burden. I need the load to be lightened. So I appreciate what everyone has done. I stand on the shoulders of those that have gone before me. But if I carry the burden, then their work has been in vain. Their work is not done. So they have carried the burden for me. One of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is the freedom to say quietly, this is not mine to carry. When we're watching the news and we see, and some of the headlines are very painful, very, very unsettling when you look at the devastation of an earthquake, when you look at people losing their homes to fires, to disasters, when you look at children being abused. Those are things that we can take into prayer. God, the living Spirit Almighty, has everything it needs to carry that. And it may not be a burden to God. So in essence, let God do God's work. And then trust God to be enough to carry the burden. The second agreement that I've made with myself is, if it's not true, don't say it. I'm going to say that again. If it's not true, don't say it. If you heard it and don't know it to be true, don't repeat it. If there's a tendency to whisper something, a little bit of gossip about somebody, whether you're joking about it or not, if it's not true, don't say it. What do you say about yourself? Oh, I'm too old for that. Oh, I was never smart for that. Oh, this, that. What are you saying about yourself that's not true? What is holding you in bondage in terms of what you say about yourself? What do you say about your grandchild or your grandchildren? What do you say about someone who lives a different lifestyle from what we are? Well, they're different. Well, no, they're not. We're all the same. So when we say stuff about groups of people, we need to stop and ask ourselves, is it true? And if it's not true, don't say it. Ask myself, what can I learn from this? What is the truth of this situation? What is in this situation that is hiding behind the boldness of the untruth that presents it out there? Because oftentimes it's very easy to get into the stream of untruths than to step outside the stream of telling the truth and being the truth. So if it's not true, don't say it. What do you say about your neighbors? Well, they're always complaining. Well, my teacher told me once that when people are complaining, it's like a prayer request. So if I see it as a prayer request, then that puts me on a different playing field. Then I can listen to them. And when they say stuff about themselves, I'm not nodding my head, indicating that it was true. Because nodding your head, yes, means yes. And so if it's not true, don't say it. If you hear something that's not true, don't say it. I remember one time I was out in public and someone asked me a question about a situation, and as I started to answer the question, I said, well, let me tell you this. And then I looked around to see who was listening. And then I proceeded. I caught myself because there was an opportunity for me to say something that I didn't know was true. And so we have to always remind ourselves, we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to fix anything. We don't have to know. And so if it's not true, don't say it. Unity teaches us that our thoughts and our words are creative. We say that our words are creative. And so when we say something that's not true, there's a possibility of those words creating in our experience exactly what we've spoken into it. Every day we have the opportunity to plant seeds of hope, kindness, compassion, and truth. I've learned that one of the greatest expressions of spiritual freedom for me is not feeling the need to have an opinion about everything. That was a biggie for me, having an opinion about everything. People come to us and I know she's got an opinion, so I'm going to go right to her. So I don't have an opinion about everything. If I do, I just keep it to myself. And I'll do what Tina's doing right now, nodding. Nodding. Yeah. And so we have an opportunity to check ourselves. The third agreement is, if it's not right, don't do it. Just don't do it. Now, right and wrong, or, we play around with right or wrong, and based on where we are, we have our own definition of right. It's right as long as it suits us, but it's wrong, it's not right if it suits someone else and it doesn't play into our thing. So how do you know what's right? How do I know what's right? I trust my gut. That still small, I get this feeling in my gut. And it will tell me whether it's the right thing to do. Sometimes if I'm not sure and I want to act on impulse because my gut has told me, sometimes I will delay that for a few minutes, maybe 24 hours. If I have to make a decision that I'm struggling with that may be right or wrong, I can take some time and say, if it's not right now, let me ponder on it. Not to make it right, but ponder on it so that I can be clear that it is right. And so I don't play around so much with right or wrong anymore. When people tell me something is right, I check in with my inner guidance and I say, what is right? What is my gut telling me? There have been times when my gut has told me to take this street over, and I didn't. And then I took this next street over, and I got caught up in traffic or all of this other stuff. So when our gut tells us something, it's time to pay attention. And when the gut says, it's not right, don't do it. If it's not right, if it doesn't feel right, there's a little gray area there, pray on it. Think about it. And don't pray on it for the answer that you want. The answer that you want right. What that does is that's bringing spirit down to our level instead of us raising ourselves up to the level of the universal intelligence. So ponder on it and say, show me, in a way that I can understand it, what is the right answer to this? Or what is the right situation? What is the right answer? Where do I need to go today? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to say? And how do I need to say it? And how do I receive the answer? How do I get myself out of the way? Sometimes it might require, if it don't feel right, sometimes we have to disappoint others. Sometimes the right thing to do is disappoint others. And we because we're part human and part spirit, we have a tendency to want to please people. We have a tendency to not want to hurt someone. But, being right, doing the right thing requires courage. And even if we have a history of doing something a certain way and it's not right now, we can acknowledge, well, I used to do it that way. Yeah, you're right, I did. Yeah, you're right, I used to do it that way. But I have more insight now. And I can make a better decision. And so I've learned that every decision either moves me closer to peace or further away from it. So that can be our other guide. Am I getting closer to that peaceful nature, or am I getting away from that peaceful nature? That is freedom. It's living in integrity. Now, the fourth agreement that I made with myself, this one just really just seals it for me. And it comes from the psalmist in the scripture. And it says, be still and know that I am God. So my agreement is to be still. And for many years, I thought I understood what those words meant. I thought being still meant slowing down, being quiet, finding a peaceful place, away from all the activities of life. And then something happened. Something deeper happened for me. And it happened a couple of weekends last month. My husband and I we traveled out of state for a wedding. And it was already, when my husband said we've been invited and we have to go to this place, my mind started clicking. I started figuring out stuff. And which is the best way? And he said, well, the best way is just to fly out of LAX. Well, that just ignited a flame in me. I'm just like, LAX, do you realize how frustrating this is? I just do not, oh my God, we got to, all that traffic, and we got to, and then and here I am, don't get me started on coming back. So he said, well, that's okay. He said, we'll work it out. And so I thought, Lord, have mercy. I even called Jesus. I said, help me, Jesus, because, I am completely out of control right now. So, So, like I said, ordinarily I would have been, I was already thinking ahead, the flight, you know, it just was, I was in my own way all the way. And what I later found out, once I got quiet, all the arrangements had already been made for us. It was a wedding, and my husband's oldest granddaughter was getting married. And so they made reservations for us to fly out of Los Angeles Airport. So they reserved a hotel room for us so we could stay the night before. They paid to park our car in the parking lot for the time that we were there. They had a driver meet us at the airport, take us to our hotel. At every corner, there was someone at the wedding rehearsal. Everything was already just in place. I had nothing to do except for be. And I tell you, it was an experience of a lifetime. As the weekend unfolded, I noticed this remarkable thing that happened. I wasn't worrying. I wasn't trying to control the outcome. I wasn't carrying the weight of making everything happen, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, Lord, this is family. You know what happens when family get together? There's always one. There's always one in the family and so I'm thinking, I know who it is. I already know the one. So I got all of this going on. And nobody did anything except for be who they were. It was this most amazing experience that I'd ever had. And what I took from that was, as I enjoyed it, I realized stillness is not the absence of movement. Stillness is the absence of fixing things. So my body was moving, but my mind was moving, and my body was moving. And somewhere along the line, all of these spiritual practices finally came into play. That it was not about being still in physical form. It's about not fixing things. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that God Almighty, the universe, intelligence, it's got us. It's got our back. So those words are not just asking us to stop living. Being still doesn't mean that. We don't have to stop living, but we got to stop fixing things. We have got to start fixing things. And so these are the agreements that I carry with me throughout my day and throughout time and in every encounter. There are people that absolutely believe that because I am in this leadership role, that it is a tough job, that is terrible, that is frustrating, that is irritating. Not mine. I don't take it. And when they ask me, how are things going with the city? I said, they're great. Well, how are you doing? I'm great. And I am, because I have those agreements. Beneath the surface of everything that goes on, there is a deeper stillness. And that's what I ascribe to, a deeper peace. And so as we come to the close of this, yesterday we celebrated the freedom of the nation. Today, may we celebrate the freedom of our soul, the freedom to choose faith over fear, hope over despair, love over judgment, peace over worry. Because true freedom is not found in the absence of challenges. It is found in discovering the peace, the presence, the peace, the purpose, and the presence of spirit within each every one of us. So may each of us continue that journey, the 4 practices that I've given us today. Be still and know that I am God. And so I would like to just take us into a meditation right now, a closing prayer, if you will join me, and just be centered and right where you are right now, knowing that there is nothing really to worry about. There's nothing that we need to care about. And we take a moment and we address that living Spirit Almighty. So I say, loving presence, today we give thanks for the gift of freedom, Not only the freedom to celebrate as a nation, but the spiritual freedom that lives within each and every one of us. Help us to release what no longer is ours to carry. Give us wisdom to speak words that heal. Give us courage to live with integrity. And in the midst of life's changing circumstances, teach us to be still, not by withdrawing from life, but trusting that you are already present in every step of the journey. May we leave this place today with peaceful hearts, clear minds, and open spirits. May we become instruments of hope, compassion, and grace. Grace in a world longs for peace. And so I affirm for each and every one of us, I release the fear and choose faith. I release worry and choose peace. I trust wisdom of God within me. My spirit is free. My heart is at peace. My life is guided by divine love. And so it is. Amen.
Here are two classic American songs from the choir.
Thank you so much. Let's hear it for the Unity Soul Singers. Beautiful, beautiful. And the choir director, Bill, lovely. So nice, thank you. And Mayor Reverend Annie, wonderful speech today. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you when you're here. Unity has 5 basic principles that express our core beliefs. They are: God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. And 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. And 5, I do and give my best by living the truth that I know. I make a difference, and we certainly do. And we also practice the principle of giving and receiving. So let's hold our gifts in our hands and bless our offerings. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we always give and receive in love. We do have blessing envelopes on your chairs if you would like us to keep track of you for tax purposes. Keep track of your givings. Please put your name on the envelope. And the act of giving in its purest form is a fundamental law of life. It's the core principle of which creation stands. Which we give, what we give is what we create in our lives. And we align with this universal principle when we give without expecting anything in return. We can have our ushers come up now. And our church is solely funded through your generous donations, and your financial support is greatly appreciated. And so we do have several ways that you can donate. Of course, go to our website. You can put an offering in the basket. You can text to 77977, and in the message put Unity of OC Give. All right. While we're waiting for the basket to go around, today is the first Sunday of the month. Yes, and what do we do on the first Sunday of the month? Birthday Sunday, yay. So, of course, of course, cake. Cake for sure. And, well, of course, we have 250-year birthday. And who else has a birthday in July? I know we have a lot of birthdays. Bill, Jim, Annie. Oh, wow, we have our choir director. Who else back there has a birthday? Birthdays. Howard's birthday. He's going to be a big birthday this month. I won't embarrass him and say what it is. He's going to be 50. All right. And so, oh, that's true. If it isn't true, don't say it, right? Thank you for reminding me of that, Reverend Annie. But I know that Reverend Annie's birthday is today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, so wonderful. So well, let's sing happy birthday to all of our wonderful people. Wonderful, great. And do we have any first-time customers? You can tell where I've been. Most of my time I spend it in the box office out here, so no wonder. Well, we have 2 here, very nice. We have over here, oh, wonderful. We're so glad that you're here today. We really are. And so we want to invite you, first of all, to be sure to stay and have hospitality today. Carla was very gracious, and we're having a 4th of July picnic back there, basically. And so we want you to stay so that we can get to know you a little better. I know Manny, and so please join us. In the meantime, we want to give you a blessing. So together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And if, Reverend Annie, if you could bless our offerings, girls.
So I simply just take this moment knowing that money is God in action, money is energy, and the energy brought forth through these givings blesses this community, blesses unity as a whole, and it blesses all of us. So I speak a word of blessing for prosperity for the givers and the receivers of this, knowing that it goes back to God from whence it came. I release this word into the law, I give thanks, I let it be, and so it is done. Amen.
Peace song and the prayer protection.
And then we'll have...
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. All together, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay.